this is when the Electoral College actually does make sense, right? Because, the popular vote, I mean, it gets so much media attention and it's completely meaningless. It has no impact whatsoever on who gets, any sort of power at all, right? So the Electoral College, even though you can debate about, well, is this state worth this many in this vote, but at the end of the day, that's kind of like in basketball, there's certain statistics, like there's a stat called PER, which basically you reduce a player to their overall efficiency. And I think that's how I look at the Electoral College.
But that,
right?
To me, the Electoral College is a failed system. That's like saying you don't look at the scoreboard, you look at who got the least number of fouls as the win. It is accurate.
At all.
The popular vote is literally.
You're not following my statistical analogy.
Okay,
you're not following my statistical analogy, right? So if you are reducing, percentage statistics to an aggregate number, the Electoral College actually works very, very well. And what you can do is you can compare it historically from politicians from past generations.
The reason why the Electoral College exists, the reason why we have our system here, is because places like Prince Edward Island, places like Rhode Island, they need to have a voice. They need to have more power than just the 20 or 30 people who live there. That's why it exists.
Wait. There are more people in PEI than the 20 or 30.
40. Okay, there's 40.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, like that, and I understand it. Like, I get it. Ontario is the most populous place in Canada. The way we vote, like, we could just steamroller over it. Like, Quebec and Ontario steamroller over Canada all the time when it comes to electing the prime minister. But at least PEI. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what's the thing is it from the farm show where they talk about in Saskatchewan, there's no point, they basically talk about how why are we even voting?
Yeah.
The election has been decided by Ontario 2 hours before then.
That's right. This is regional diversity, right? And the thing is, if and so this is the sort of failed notion of the popular vote, right? Is that so the most populous centers of a country, right, are going to determine everything. And obviously, regionally, there's a certain set of philosophies and attitudes and beliefs that are going to skew everything, right? Like multiculturalism for me is really interesting because being in Toronto, obviously, we're such a diverse city. But if you look nationally across Canada, like the numbers for people of color are very, very, very different. So in Toronto, we, and I'm an advocate for that, but we have a tendency to sort of see Canada through the more multicultural lens. But if you're in a small town and everybody's white and there's like one Chinese Italian guy, lucky you, you're going to have a very, very different perspective of the world. So which one is right and which one is wrong? I mean, it kind of depends where you're coming from, right?
I agree.
Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the parliamentary system here, I get why it's set up that way. It is for the representation of, so that PEI does get a vote, so that they don't get steamrolled by Ontario and Quebec. The reason the Electoral College in the States doesn't work is because you already have levels of government that are already determined at a state level. The Senate and the House, the two houses of government are set up that way so that you get representation across. That's why there's red states and blue states across the way. What is not representative is the fact that the majority of people, in fact, 5 to 7 million more people have voted for this person, but by the shakedown of states, it may not be the case that happened. That's what happened to Hillary Clinton. She had overwhelming, if you look at the numbers, overwhelming support of the populace, yet because of the way the layout of the land is, and it's a single point of interest. It's not a question of house. It's not a question
logic.
No, but that's the thing. What you're saying is across the entire nation, you're asking for the leader of that person. You're not asking for a representative of your state to be part of a party that is leveraging that, which is our system. You are saying you're literally saying this is one place.
I want to hear this.
One place.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a very, very simple question. Sure. Are the politicians aware that the Electoral College system exists when they run their campaigns?
Of course they do.
Are they aware?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they're aware. So why the fuck do they care about the popular vote, right? This is why the point makes absolutely no sense, right? It's very, very clear that in order to win, you need more Electoral College votes. Right. So that means any question about the popular vote means nothing. They just
No.
campaigned poorly. That's all it is.
No. But that electoral college system is flawed. That's why the popular
Every
vote
system
being
is
looked at.
flawed.
But this is enormously flawed.
I think it's.
Oh yeah, and the way
I think
that the electoral, the gerrymandering of those components to each thing, like that is, so that they can pretty much, it's the disenfranchisement of voters, particularly Black voters, in the way that they have skewed their voting districts is it's
So
egregious.
we're still going to make that
that's
argument when
ridiculous.
Biden wins.
And that's,
Oh,
but that
yeah.
that was created back in Reconstruction in the late 19th century, and has continued. It has been exacerbated by the Democratic Party during the 1950s and the 60s, and now the Republican Party is taking advantage of that, which was created by the Democratic Party in the 1950s. And it's just, it's I don't mean to say it's a game, but it's a system that they know how to play. Yes.
Bobby's right. Bobby is right. Hate the game, not the player. What I'm saying is there needs to be a rule change. You know what? We have a trapezoid in the NHL now, and we used to have a 2 red line rule. That got changed because we realized it sucked. This sucks. So they should change.
Okay, so let's make the rule change. Let's play this theoretical game, and we don't have that much to talk about. So I think we have time to talk about this. Okay, so now we change it to the popular vote. Okay, so we, like Todd Van Allen's in charge, and he goes, the first thing that he's going to do is change the system. I don't give a fuck. I live in Canada. I don't give a shit about this. But fine, let's talk about it. Electoral college now gone. Now it's the popular vote. Okay. Yes. Do you not think that all of a sudden the Republicans are going to campaign differently?
Of course they are. Everyone will. Everyone will.
So, well, this is it. So then it's like, okay, you change the system. The people are still going to game the system. People, like white people, are still going to try to find a way to get rid of Black people who aren't going to vote for them, right? Mm-hmm. It's like men are still going to find a way to get rid of women who aren't going to vote. Like whatever it is, it's like whatever the manifestations of power are, whatever the mechanics of power are, there's always going to be people who are going to exploit them, right? Like I don't think you can ever achieve true consensus and true parity within any power structure.